Um, do you have you mentioned your sign in Orlando there, but do you have any other favourite pieces of memorabilia, Eels memorabilia that you've collected from over the years?
Oh, I have. I've got one jersey that Sterlo gave me for my 30th birthday, and it had Gow on the back. So he gave me a jersey of one of his jerseys years ago, and then for my 30th birthday, him and Fatty gave me a para one with Gowie on the back, and so that sits pride and place in my closet with a couple of jackets I won playing tournaments and winning, and yeah, so that's pretty special. But there is a pair of shoes that you ever see me go to a game. I've been with Nike, sponsored athlete for 26 years this year. And back about 12 or 13 years ago, they said, "Oh, do you want anything?" And I said, "I'd like a pair of custom blue and yellow shoes made with the Eels on there." So they made me these awesome shoes. So they're the only ones in the world. No one
Wow.
else has got them. I wear them to the game. I think I've put them on Instagram once or twice, but so they sit pretty high up in my shoe rack. So I don't, as I said, I don't buy myself, expensive things, and I don't collect things other than a few shoes here and there, and they're all got Nike on them anyway, but they sit at the top of my most custom-made shoes.
Geez, I reckon Nike would make a fortune if they release those to Parramatta fans for sure. I
I,
mean, everyone would buy them.
I would imagine so. So yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. What's your favorite grand final victory out of the four that we've had so far? Is there one that stands
Oh,
out?
no, I don't think. Well, beating Manly
Yeah,
is
twice.
twice is
Yeah.
pretty damn good. Like, um, and they had a pretty good team around that time too, and all that sort of stuff. And they had household names: Graham Eady and Johnny Gibbs and Fatty and oh, geez, keep going, Thompson and all those guys going down the list there. Gardner was a great. Um, he was a really, really good. Sorry about that.
You are?
Yeah, he was a really good winger there. So probably those two, 82 and 83, ridiculous. So yeah, I guess one of the worst was 2001. I'd flown all the way back from the
No.
US tour. It was an amazing year for me, 2001. My wife, we had our first child, and I made it onto the US tour for the first time. So I'm going to play with the likes of Tiger Woods and Ernie Els and all those guys. Para makes it at the grand final. I've still got about 4 or 5 or 6 weeks left on tour, and I got a call. Would you be interested in coming home and sitting up in the NRL box and for the grand final? And so I jumped on the plane, and my wife, and we come home, and it was a great week. I soaked it all up, and I went to the grand final, and the first half wasn't great. It was awful. It was like I was at a funeral. But people don't, it finished 30-24, and people don't realise that Para won the second half. I know they didn't win it overall, but I keep
24-6.
saying, we won the second half. So, Newcastle were pretty damn good. But it was a long way to come to watch him get beaten, but it was really worth it. I rolled up. I was proud as punch, and then I flew back to the US the next day and finished the last 4 or 5, 6 weeks in the US. And some
Yeah.
people might think I was a little bit crazy, but you never know when your team's going to be in the grand final, do you?
Well, that's it. That was my first Eels grand final that I'd been to, and yeah, I was devastated that day for that loss. But much like this season, what are your thoughts about this season this year, 2023? It was a bit of a downer for us Para fans.
Hard to watch at times. Hey, everything goes in a bit of a cycle, I think, in life in general. I noticed, in my sport, it's definitely a cycle. I don't think it's an easy job being someone who recruits players. It's a difficult thing. So I was just worried just watching them every week. Like I was like, oh, we haven't got our full team in, all that sort of stuff. You can make plenty of excuses, but it's the team that's in there. I think it's hard to be a first grade rugby league player. Like I quite often go down to Kellyville and watch the reserve graders because I want to see who's coming up, and
Yep.
a bunch of good players coming this year, like Brennan Hands, Jaden Yates. That was cool. I'm sure we got some coming up through Jersey Flegg too that will get a run in reserve grade and then make their way. So it's fun following my daughter and I. We try to follow. She's a para fan too. She follows them from Jersey Flegg and up, and she said, "Oh, Dad, there's a young kid come along. They rate him, and we got him from Penrith, or we got him, from wherever." She knows him back to front. So it's fun watching that. So when you have down years like this, you're just hoping they rebuild and they move on, and you learn from it. As a professional athlete, that's and me just worrying about me when I play the game of golf. I've actually got to, at the end of every year, or end of every month, and even in end of every week, is summarize what you've done well and what you've done bad, and then you act accordingly to that, and go and change things that aren't working, and hopefully they work for the better. So yeah, it was tough to watch, but I still watch them the whole way through. Like, it doesn't matter if we're getting beaten by 30. I still watch it then. I still don't understand. I got mates who turn the TV off and go, "Oh, that's shit, I'm not watching anymore," of their team. I'm like, I just love watching them run around, and you never know what the next play is going to be and what they do, and it's it's hard to watch. But hey, we've got some buy. We got old mate from Kilimantangi, didn't we? From over at Manly there, so it's always good to steal one from there. We stole Gutho from there. We stole Sean Lane from there. Love stealing people from Manly. So we're in for a better year. We got, think about, Dunster and Russell. They're only young guys coming into the game. So, it's got to evolve the team. I'm glad we've kept Mitch. That was a good signing to keep hold of him. So hopefully we're in for a better season.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all hope that they win the comp next year, but what are your hopes or predictions for 2024?
I think they're building again. I think it's got to that point, and it's about Brad Arthur, and his team, and Mark O'Neill, the recruiters, to bring in that, and they know who they've got coming up in the junior ranks, and so they've obviously got a plan of some sort. Or we as fans hope they've got a plan to go into next year, and there'll be players that move their way out that will possibly go over and play overseas. So. I think it's really interesting how they got to jostle things around, and then you get injuries. So you throw that in there, it's even tougher because all of a sudden you've trained in the off season, that to be a halfback, that to be a 5'8", and then these are your wingers and these are your centers and all that sort of stuff, and you train for that, and then all of a sudden you get 2 or 3, 4 injuries, and you got to shuffle people around. So. Penrith seem to do it better than most. They can fill people into spots. So whatever they're doing, we possibly
Let's do it.
Sort of probably see to do it. I had a discussion with a young fellow the other day that he thinks the success of Penrith all come from they all grew up with each other, and they all they buy into each other's experiences, and they don't want to let each other down. And as I said, I've never been in a team, so I don't know that team. Sort of camaraderie at all, but hopefully we get a bunch of young kids that have come through the system. I know the junior Parramatta sides. We've got juniors everywhere. Just hopefully we get the ones and they all play together. But I'm hoping, if we make the finals, that's a start. And I reckon if you get into the final, especially the top 4, anything can happen at that time. And just a matter of managing your rosters and how you do it. So I think it's fascinating how they do it, week in, week out, and people have got niggling injuries and all that sort of stuff. How, the science of managing that these days is far superior from when the boys played in the 80s, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, let's just hope we, as you said, make the finals, and then anything can happen from there. Well, time for some, I usually call them the common league questions, but I'll probably have a bit of a golf twist on them.
Yep.
So instead of favorite game that you've played, the favorite round of golf that you've ever played?
Favorite round of golf?
Is there one that stands out where you just, I just love that round or that tournament?
Yeah, sure is. I shot a score of 60, 12 under par at Castle Hill in the Cannon Challenge, which is like a record in this country. So that was, and I played alongside Aaron Badley and Stephen Leaney. That was one of my most memorable rounds ever. It still holds up 20 years later.
Nice, nice. Ever hit a hole in one?
I've had 19 hole-in-ones.
19.
19.
Wow.
I can't get to 20. I'm trying really hard to get to 20. And I'm going to try to play. I don't play a lot of golf these days, so I'm going to try to play a little bit more. I'm going to play a tournament at the end of the year. I'm actually going down to play Wagga Wagga this week in a Pro-Am down there, so I'm looking forward to that. They're big rugby league supporters. A fun town, that one. So maybe I'll get one down there and finally get to 20. So, yeah, 19.
Wow. Most people struggle to hit one, and you've
Yeah.
got 19.
Yeah, well, I get
Amazing.
more of a. I've had more of an opportunity over the
Yeah,
last 40 years than most.
yeah, true, true. So, other than your home course, did you have a favorite golf course that you played at?
Yeah, yeah. There was a number in the US that I loved. Down in Melbourne, my favourite down there. There's a couple actually. Metropolitan Golf Club and Peninsula Kingswood. They're favourites. Here in Sydney, I love the Australian Golf Club in New South Wales. I'm a member at Terry Hills, so I play out at Terry Hills. Live at Castle Hill, but I trek out there. It's a beautiful golf course out there. And in the US, I was fortunate enough to play Augusta last year, so it's now become my favourite in the US. It's such a beautiful place, and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm lucky through Fox Sports that I get to go there and help out the commentary and the showcasing the Australians that are over there. So it's absolutely gorgeous. So if you ever get a chance, or any of your listeners get a chance to go to Augusta, take it up. It is unbelievable.
Yeah, no doubt. Is there a least favorite one that you hate playing at for whatever reason?
Not really, actually.
No?
It's
Okay. Or
yeah, it's a
one that
good
you
question.
struggle with at all?
Oh, there's plenty I struggle with
Or
over the years. Oh, actually, yeah, there was one actually Beth Page. I didn't dislike the golf course, but Beth Page up in New York where we played the US Open, it just was too hard for me. It was just so, but it's worth playing. I didn't hate it, but it was just one that never suited my eye. I hit the ball more left to right, and you needed to hit the ball more right to left. But the biggest myth in the US when you get to the US Tour is they got all the best golf courses that you play on the US Tour. But the fact is, it's not. Like, all the courses that you don't play, all the private country clubs are possibly the best. So they just look good on TV. That's all.
no, fair enough. Is there a player that you wanted to play with that you never got an opportunity to play around with?
Yeah, probably. A guy you wouldn't even know of is Nick Price. From
South
Zimbabwe. I
yeah.
always looked up to him, as I do of Greg Norman and Peter Thompson in the day, and Wayne Grady, Peter Senior. Always looked up to those guys in Baker Finch. But yeah, I would have liked to have played with Nick Price. I've met him a couple of times, but he was. I would have loved the way he hit the ball and the way he played the game. I really liked, but I never. He's probably 10 years older than me, so I didn't really ever get a chance to play with him. So I would have loved to.
Was now you mentioned the wooden spoon prank a bit earlier.
Yep.
There was a prankster besides yourself on the tours that you're on, and what did they get up to?
Oh, yeah, there wasn't actually. I was the captain of the world team, especially with the Aussies. And Lonard and Gavin Coles were probably the two bunnies there, especially Lonard. Like, I had this, everything's free. All the companies on the US tour, everything's given to you, right? So you're just a bunch of sport brats. Anyway, there's a guy with wooden golf tees. He come up to me. He said, "Oh, Paul, do you want some golf tees?" I said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "Do you want them in your home team, your football team? A lot of the Australians are getting their AFL teams. Do you want your team?" I said, "Oh, yeah, that'd be great." So he made me, like, I'm going to say it was 5,000 yellow golf tees,
Wow.
right, with the
Yeah.
eels on,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
So what I thought was a good idea is I got a bunch of those tees with the kids, and I went and hid them in Leonard's house everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And I got Parramatta stickers, and I stuck them under tables. Um, just absolutely everywhere. So everywhere he looked, in between his mattress. So when he moved house, he opened, and next thing there's 100 teas under there. And then the guy made me another 500, another 5,000 in blue. So I've still got a heap to this day that I went to golf yesterday with my mum, and I pulled out a Parramatta tee. So it's
Oh,
pretty cool.
nice.
So I try not to use them these days. So I haven't got that many left.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there was a couple here and there, but there's none of them. They're pretty serious. So there's a couple of Americans that Trip Eisenhower that I'd travel with. He was a bit of a prankster. So it's a gentleman's sports, Troy. That's a gentleman playing the game of golf.
I'm surprised you didn't turn him into a Parramatta supporter with all the Parramatta stuff around his house.
Oh yeah, well, no, he dislikes it, but
Did he
that's
ever get you back in 2011, 12, and 18?
not really. He's not a great prankster. He made a little bit of a prank on me one day that he told my daughter, who he was babysitting for us in the Lando, and she was 3 or 3.5 or something, and he told her that I know what your dad's going to buy you for Christmas, and she said what? And he said a pony. So when I got home that night, she says, "Hey, Dad, Peter told me, Uncle Pete told me what you're going to buy me. You're going to buy me a pony." I said, "You know, Uncle Pete, he lies a lot, so there's no chance you're getting a pony." And she goes, "Oh, okay." So I come to Christmas Day, and I spoke to Lana, and he goes, "How's Christmas Day?" "Yeah, good." I said, "Oh, it was, but Tiana, my daughter's crying a lot, and she didn't get the pony that that you said I was going to get her." He goes, "Really?" So then he rang our manager. We had the same manager, and the manager, he said, "You're an idiot." He said, "We're not going to go buy a pony for Gowie's kid. He's having a go at you." He goes, No. He said she was crying. Nah, she wasn't crying at all. So he's not a great prankster, but it's good talking footy with him because he loves his footy too.
Now, if you didn't go down the playing golf path, what do you think you would be doing as a career?
I'd be a tradie of some sort,
Yeah,
not too smart. So I would be, not saying tradies aren't smart, but I don't know actually. I haven't, because the fact is, mate, that at the age of 11 or 12, I knew exactly what I wanted to do for a job. I
yeah,
was always going to be a professional golfer of some sort, other than being a touring professional. That's what I wanted to be. But there's other parts of golf that you could be without being a touring golf professional. So I was so bloody lucky that, I had mates that went through, uni and all that sort of stuff that still didn't know what they wanted to do for a job. But I was lucky from the age of 12 that I was pretty focused on what to do. So I actually went into the finance industry when I come back from America in 2011. I went in there to try out what a real job was like. I wore a suit and a tie, went to a place called Mortgage Port. I was business development in there, so that was interesting. I did that for 3 or 4 years, believe it or not, and just to see what everything was like what normal life was. I'd
yeah.
been tripping around for all those years, not living the high life. I didn't fly around in private jets and all that sort of stuff. I sat at the back of the bus, but it was good to see. I think it should be something in sports, maybe, that you go and see what an accountant does, or a financial planner, or someone like that. So I've been more educated in the last 10 years than I
Yeah.
was prior to that, because I didn't pay attention at school. Teachers thought I was on drugs because, I didn't pay attention. I was too busy thinking of playing golf or drawing golf courses or clubs. And they actually said to my parents, "We think your kid's on drugs." And my dad said, "There's not a chance." He comes home from school, makes himself a sandwich, gets a bunch of practice golf balls, goes back over to the school on the school island and hits balls until dark. So he's got no time for drugs. So pretty simple like that. So
golf,
yeah, I
golf,
don't know what I'd be.
golf was your drug.
Yep.
All right, time for the quick top 10, and it's just pretty much a simple yes or no, or
Yep.
maybe, or could be something different. I don't know, but cats or dogs,
Dogs.
Ford or Holden,
Holden.
pineapple on pizza, yes or no,
Yes.
tea or coffee,
Green tea.
Star Wars or Star Trek,
Star Wars.
Rambo or Rocky.
Rocky.
Nice, nice. Peanut butter or Vegemite.
Both.
Yeah,
But okay, I've got
fair
to give
enough.
an answer. So it'll be Vegemite.
Nice. Morning or night person.
A morning person. I'm out of bed early.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Seinfeld or Friends?
Friends.
Nice. And we'll wrap things up with the set of six, the personality sort of questions. Now, I usually say, what's your favourite sport outside of rugby league? But you've got rugby league and golf. Is there any outside of those that you enjoy watching or
Oh yeah, I enjoy all
play?
sports, but horse racing. So I think they're amazing jockeys and what they do and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so they're my sports. But I enjoy watching all sports.
Nice. Do you gamble much on the horses?
Yep. Yep. I'm not a big
Oh,
gambler, but I
but
love watching them. Actually, didn't have a punt on the weekend because I was too busy cutting lawns and um, doing the pool and all that sort of stuff. So I enjoyed a bit of garden work here and there.
nice. Well, you've been to many a destination across the world. Is there a favourite holiday destination?
Maldives by far.
Nice, nice. Uh, Instead of meeting, who would be the most famous person you would or love to meet, dead or alive, but also maybe even have a round of golf with?
Gary Packer.
Nice. Um, which three former golfers wouldn't you want to be on a deserted island with, and why?
Three former golfers.
Oh, it could be current if you want.
Garrett, Robert Allenby, because we don't really get on. Um, that'd be one. I got to say that's a hard one because majority golfers are actually really nice. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
they know how hard it is, to play the game, and they've got some sort of appreciation for each other. So it's a really hard. Robert is probably not great,
what
but
like
probably
how
Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed, who's on the US tour, that cheats a bit. There's two, but other than that, the rest of them are. Phil Mickelson. Sorry, there's three. I got three.
okay.
If Phil Mickelson was a Mars bar, he'd eat himself. He's that fond of himself. So there's three. Yeah, actually, I got three out,
There
but
you
they'd be
go.
the three most.
That's
Jeez.
it. What's your specialty dish in the kitchen or on the barbecue?
Well, as I said, I'm a simple human. Is that I could eat a chicken salad every day of my life, and I make a chicken salad pretty much every day. I
Yeah.
love chicken. Chicken's my thing. I go right in the barbie. I was the worst cook of all time, so I had a mate gave me a lesson on it. Now I don't cook too bad, but I love a barbie. I don't drink beer. I drink copious amounts of bourbon. I love bourbon. That's sort of like a pastime for me. I collect bourbons and different ones, but I drink them too. Yeah, so I'm okay. I'm not a good cook. We're not. Yeah, just okay.
Don't worry, I'm not the best cook either. I'm just
Yeah.
bacon and eggs or sausages or steak. That's about it.
Yeah,
Nothing too
maybe one
fancy.
day I'll go and have lessons and cook something good. The guy I used to travel with, Trip Eisner, he was a chef and he was good golfer too, and it was awesome. Rooming with him, we'd get a place that had cooking facility, and he'd cook. It was just I'd buy the material, and the food was fantastic. End up looking like the side of a house because we'd eat so well. But
But
yeah,
well, the last one. Who's your favorite band or solo artist to listen to?
Jimmy Barnes,
Oh, mate, good taste. Good
yeah,
taste.
he goes all right.
Yeah. Nah, what's your favorite Barnesy song or Chisel song?
Oh, far out. Geez, there's so many. No one's ever asked me that. And
Yeah.
I've been to that many Barnesy concerts. I actually had him on the show one year, which was pretty cool. Um, Always liked Working Class Man.
Yeah.
It sort of rang home with my family, and everyone worked pretty hard in our family. So it sort of that was pretty cool. But geez, you go back
Well,
flame trees, you just keep
yeah.
going. It
Well,
just
like yourself in 2001, where you thought all the stars were aligning with the Parramatta Grand Final, I thought last year all the stars were aligning as well because Barnsley's my favourite, um, solo artist, and Chisel's my favourite band, and that he was playing at halftime, and Parramatta Grand Final against Penrith. I thought, yep, it's all aligning here, it's all happening. But unfortunately, it didn't. But
because there's a
nevertheless,
Penrith supporter that was thinking the exact same thing. It's all aligned
yeah.
for them because
Oh,
they're
no doubt. No doubt, no doubt, that's for sure, no doubt. Well, Paul Gow, thank you very much for joining me today on the Parramatta podcast. I could have talked for hours, so many interesting stories, and hopefully one day we'll catch up at Combank Stadium at a game and we'll say good day. And uh, listeners and viewers, when does How Good Is Golf come back on?
Yeah, it's still on at the moment. How Good Is Golf is they've done 15 episodes. I've got this week on the show coming up. I've got with a celebrity one, which is called Getting Around. I have got Damien Fleming. Then I roll into Stephen May from Melbourne Football Club, and I think that's it. Have I got someone else? I don't know. That's it. And yeah, because we
Time
filmed them a while ago. So yeah,
on
it's
the
all
on the
good
time.
and getting ready for next year. You can see it all on Fox Sports.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you very much, Paul, for joining me today.
Mate, no problem. Pleasure.